Hello everybody, how are you going? And welcome to Truth or Myth. Canadians react to supposedly their own stereotypes, of which there are a few, especially given that the USA just loves to chuck and pile every single thing that's a little bit different on top of them. There really can be a whole bundle of truths and a whole bundle of myths, but which one's which? Canadians are extremely polite.
Yeah. I believe that.
I'll bump into furniture and be like, sorry.
You'll meet people and they'll be like, hello, and I'm like, hello. I'm like, oh, you're from Canada.
I see people apologize for no reason. Like, they'll drop a pin and say sorry. I'm like, why are you apologizing? You just apologized to a pin.
Just a reflex? Are we like trained as little Canadians? I don't know.
Have you ever been told to wear a Canadian pin?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, if you travel, wear a Canadian pin. You're like, oh, I'm from North America. And they're like, oh.
Right.
And I'm like,
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I don't think I've ever met like not nice Canadian. I feel like we get like sassy.
Have you been to a Costco?
But Costco's like an American chain, is it not?
This is true.
So America makes us, brings out the worst in us.
Oh, that certainly does say a lot about the relationship between the USA and Canada. As amicable as it generally is, there is certainly a difference there. Even the fact that she said that they apologized for picking up pens, or apologized for dropping the pen, I guess is what it is, which, let's be honest, is not a very normal thing. A lot of people don't have empathy. Well, actually, a lot of people don't have empathy for other people, but a lot of people don't have empathy for objects. Inanimate objects certainly don't get treated very well all around the world, and so for people to be apologizing for dropping, you know, a pen, it's not the highest tier, most delicate item on the entire pyramid, and it still gets apologized for. And so no wonder he was saying just make sure you wear a Canadian pin on your shirt, especially when you were traveling, which I haven't heard. I've heard of the backpack, and I guess that's what it's going to be. I've heard of wearing a flag, but I've never thought about it in a pin form. More of a hat form, or a shirt form, or just anything to give a little bit of a subtle clue instead of being a little bit more direct, unless it's a little patch or something on the bag. Whereas that, you just go, no, look at me. I'm not maybe who you think I am. I'm not that. Please, 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 just everyone calm down.
Brings out the worst in us. I've never had a problem in a Tim Hortons.
We're not that nice, it's
Fair
just
enough.
that we live next to assholes.
I don't think that's true. Passive aggressive, but not necessarily polite. Backhanded compliments, that's a big Saskatchewan thing. I got told once that my voice was very nasally, but it suited my face, which was like really hard to hear. It's not great, I didn't pick either of these.
Wow. Yes, I would definitely say that that would be true, but I just need to come back to that backhanded compliment / passive aggressive argument. I don't even know what you would call that. I guess it's just being politely true in a way, but it was meant in a negative way. It really is quite difficult to dissect if they're going to be mean or aggressive or polite or whatever it may be, because if that's meant to be it's not meant to be a compliment, but if that's meant to be an insult, then what is it? Because that is certainly very easy to be misconstrued in either a good or a bad way and just change it so you go, oh yeah, thanks, wow, I never thought about that, but that's an awesome thing to hear. Or you can go, wow, that's the most horrible thing I've ever heard, because he said I didn't choose either of these. And then to be fair to this guy, he was very quick to back up his previous claims with this kind of evidence to go, I've never had a problem in a Tim Hortons. And I feel like there probably is, but that's probably just because you have some absolute nutcase compared to just generic people. Like, there's a bit of a difference there. And even the kind of extremities, I don't think they'd be nearly as crazy. Canadians live in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
I mean, lumberjacks are hot, so that's a compliment.
I mean,
Saskatchewan is the middle of nowhere.
It is the middle of nowhere. Like, it's literally the middle of Canada, and it's nowhere.
Surely
nowhere.
the Northwest Territories.
Yeah,
not true.
not true. Well,
Are we middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
We have the most space.
We have a lot of land that's not occupied.
It's the most space per person in any country in the world.
Right. We're just like every asshole with a huge
that
backyard
true?
and nothing with it. You know how I know we're not good with our space? There's Alberta.
I mean, in my hometown, my whole family hunts, farms, and fishes. You're from the big city.
Yeah, I would say no. Not at all.
Wow.
Toronto's like the center of Canada. So.
Honestly, the whole time they are talking here, I'm just wondering the question about from what perspective, because to be saying that Canadians live in the middle of nowhere, that can be very subjective. If you live in Ottawa, you're not that far from New York, let's say. And so is New York in the middle of nowhere? I would say not. And not many people live outside of the major cities, similarly to Australia. And so is Canada as a country in the middle of nowhere? Also no, because it's directly next to the USA. And I wouldn't say that North America is in the middle of nowhere, unless you're really going up to alert. That's not a country though. That's just a tiny little nowheresville. Like, it doesn't make sense. The question you cannot answer, especially when you also have to answer, are men lumberjacks? Because that could be two separate things. You may very well feel as though Canada is in the middle of nowhere. You may have grown up somewhere on a farm, like they said, and so you've felt your entire life as though it is. But then you disagree with the second part. So what are you possibly meant to do here? Regardless, I would think that the stereotype of men being lumberjacks, some, sure. All, no. That's just going to be ridiculous, of course. And then Canadians don't live in the middle of nowhere. They may very well live in the middle of nowhere in Canada, but Canadians as a country do not.
I've never chopped a single tree in my life. Oh. Wear plaid?
What are you doing?
Sure.
I don't know for lumberjacks. I think we're closer to rednecks. I think we're like actual pickup trucks. You guys do truck nuts here? You guys put nuts on your truck? That's a Saskatchewan thing.
What? Oh, they'd call it true. But to what degree? Like I said, which one is true? Because they certainly didn't seem to agree that Canadians and Canada were living in the middle of nowhere. I mean, yes, some provinces are going to be more so in the middle of nowhere, Saskatchewan, sure, but you cannot say that Quebec or BC is in the middle of nowhere. It's just not. It's just a myth. So you need a double stamp right there. Canadians say oot and a boot.
I mean, we do say A.
In French, we say
I agree with the A part. That's just a verbal tick that we say, and sometimes you don't even realize you've said it. You say a sentence to a person, and they turn around and like, "You're Canadian, right?" Like, I said A, didn't I?
I have never said oot or a boot.
It's a boot. It's a boot. What's so goddamn funny?
I've said A, but like, A, get out of my parking spot at Costco.
Oot and a boot, I don't know where
No,
the hell
that is
that's
not.
coming
No,
from.
that is not a thing.
I think the whole like oot and a boot, it's more of maybe Western Canada.
No, we just go out and about.
I'm about.
Out and about.
Rip.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait. What? They're allowing a double one after the last one where they didn't allow a double one where they had two questions, where this is now a single question and they gave it a double. How is that possibly possible? Alright, well, I guess the rules don't apply here anymore. To be fair, I do like the fact that they have gone through and got a whole range of people here. You know, they've got the Saskatchewan, they've got the Torontonians, they've got, I mean, they're not putting them up and I've forgotten the rest of them, but there is a whole range of people from different provinces, which definitely helps to at least provide a broader scheme. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm from Toronto or Vancouver. However, this lady did catch me off guard when she said, "Hey, get out of my parking spot," because once again, I don't know if it's already on my mind from previously in Costco, but that sounded very almost New Yorkian, Bossian, whatever you want to be calling it. And I guess it is fairly close. But the fact that she's saying, no, I don't use any of these, and then she's going to Costco and then doing all this, we may very well have a trader. Canada is freezing cold all the time. No.
Yeah.
What?
Almost,
Yeah, depending on where you are.
Sure.
What?
Yeah,
Saskatchewan has like 6 months of winter. It's ridiculous.
but I like it.
You like it?
You like
I'm
it?
sweating right now, so no.
No, but in Quebec, especially 6 months of the year is winter. Like you throw boiling water down the window and it turns into snow right away.
Yeah.
Like that cold.
No, being in Saskatchewan, -40, and it's just cold. That's just cold at that point.
But once it's gone, I miss it.
What?
There are short periods of good weather
Yeah.
in between the terrible ones.
You know, in Winnipeg, I was about to move there. And the reason I didn't is because you can just die waiting for the bus. You wait for the bus in Winnipeg like you wait for the bus everywhere else on the side of the street, except it's deathly cold and sometimes the bus is late and you die. Like that's what Winnipeg's like.
How did your great-great-grandpa buy? Well, he had to go to the store.
More anticipating its return because I know it's coming soon.
You need a good woman.
Did you hear that, Mom? I need a good woman. You hear that?
You guys like the cold?
No. Oh, do you? Sorry, I don't speak for you.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go
please
first. I
don't,
want to be
please
polite.
don't,
Okay.
but, I mean, have your opinion. That's fine.
Well, alrighty then. We were just witness to one hell of a Canadian argument that was so disrespectful. There was no sorries and anything like that. How could they take into consideration each other's feelings? Honestly, it's just disgraceful to see. But no, the entire thing here about Canada being freezing cold all the time has caught me by surprise in terms of what they've said. Because either you guys are lying or they're lying. Because everyone always says that, no, Canada gets to 40, Canada gets to 32, Canada gets to 35. Oh, we had one day when it got to 44, minus 30 a couple months ago to then plus 30 in a couple months. And it's really quite an insane kind of scale that they're working on. And then everyone here said, yeah, pretty much it's cold all the time, depending on where you're living. But retrospectively, or at least from an external perspective, they all seemingly said yes. And so which one is it? Is it cold? Are you going to be dying waiting for the bus cold? He also said -40 was only cold, and I'm still trying to figure out if he means it's just cold all the time or if it's that's not that cold. That's not freezing cold. That's just cold. Because if your scale is that -40 is only cold and not that cold or freezing cold, I think it just answers the question for you. It is. There's no way around it. Yes, they might have some crazy day like the UK and Italy and all these places where it goes up to stupid temperatures, but it's cold. The fact that you can have 6 months of winter where it's freezing to the point where you're just pouring, boiling, well, it was once water down the window, how are you possibly going to be saying that it's not cold? That's my simple explanation to that, and I would love to know what everyone else thinks to what they said. Love hockey and know how to play it well. Surely yes.
Do you know how to play hockey?
I've never even been on the ice. We
So
need to
you
like
don't
Photoshop
know.
like a third person who clearly plays hockey to like balance this out.
I wouldn't say know how to play,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna
definitely
say,
love hockey. a lot.
Love hockey, yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing about that. I don't know how to play hockey.
You're the only white guy here. You don't know how to play hockey?
Listen, I love watching hockey.
Well, I admit I'll jump on the whatever local bandwagon is playing. Like I'll cheer for the last Canadian team in the playoff.
Yeah, like my whole family, they watch hockey. Like they went crazy when the Habs were about
Oh my
like
gosh.
went to the finals just now. So yeah.
I can't talk about it yet because I'm still like, you guys play hockey?
No.
No,
Interesting.
I couldn't skate that well.
Yeah.
I was not great on the skates, and that's kind of one of the key components of hockey.
I get the gist.
Yeah,
The
and
small black cake-like thing
Yeah.
goes in the net area.
That's
I would say
it.
people get very passionate about their hockey.
Yes.
The Habs, okay, obliterated, like crushed. I'm like yelling here, crushed everybody. Like ask the people from Toronto, ask them, ask the Ontarians, ask the people from Winnipeg, ask them.
I don't know. How is it once again a double? What is going on here? I just will not accept the fact that the other one was not a double, and every single one since has been a double. This, however, is the one that has absolutely caught me off guard the most so far. Just the fact that they're saying no, 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 no. They're all saying no to playing it. I mean, a couple of them said, yeah, we love it, we love to watch it, we watch the local team, da-da-da. But the fact that they're all saying no, there's not a single hockey player, ice hockey player, just to annoy you, amongst everyone here. That is crazy. I would have thought that at least someone would have played, oh, you know, I played growing up and, you know, I probably wouldn't be too good anymore, but I played growing up and I can hit a puck, da-da-da, all those kind of things, where none of them, not a single one, seemingly said anything like that. Even the fact that, where is he? This guy said he has never been on the ice. I find that impossible to believe. Like, honestly impossible. Is he saying he's never been on a designated ice rink with the intentions of playing hockey, or is he saying he's never skated? Because I don't get how that's possible. How do you live in Canada and never skate? Ever. Like, surely that's a school sport. Surely that's just like learning to swim in Australia. There are so many things that are just deemed part of a culture that even if you don't do as an adult, that you would have done at least once. And for him to say he's never been on the ice sounds impossible to me. I would also like to know to what degree of this is just people comparing themselves to either friends or family or co-workers, whatever it may be, that are insanely good at hockey and are madly into the entire game overall and watching it and playing it. And so they're going, well, do you really watch it? No, not compared to that guy that I know of, not like some crazy hockey Canadian fan. And then do you really skate and play? No, I don't really play because I only played 10 weeks ago compared to yesterday night and yesterday morning and the other morning and the other night. I go to the rink twice a day. No, because if the entire country is actively playing into the stereotype and you're a little bit back from that, you are going to feel as though you have nothing compared to it all. Here's poutine and drink bubbles. Surely.
Okay, I had poutine this week actually.
That's
true.
Oh, what'd you say?
Oh
no.
What did you say?
Oh no, not for
She
the
said it.
Quebecians.
She said it.
She said it. She said poutine.
It's poutine.
Poutine.
Oh,
Like,
no. How could you?
Oh, no.
you know what? I'm out. I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
out.
How are you
There
supposed
you
to
go.
say it?
I have a friend who's French Canadian, and he's like poutine.
It's just, it hurts when you
It hurt.
say it. Like, ab work.
An ab workout.
Poutine.
What?
Poutine. Oh,
Yeah, definitely. I love poutine.
Yeah, everyone gets we get drunk enough to have poutine at some point in our lives.
But no, but maple syrup, maple syrup and poutine's awesome. Maple syrup on poutine is awesome.
We don't drink maple syrup, but we put it on everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
most of my pancake is maple syrup, but I do need the pancake for the excuse.
Fair enough.
Looks like a staple.
A lot of moose.
Yeah, moose, deer. Whatever you can get on the side of the road as long as you get with your
A lot
car.
of gophers.
Gophers. Hey, there it is. At least we didn't have a double whammy and a truth and a myth. But hey, I don't think there was anything too surprising there besides the fact that a surprising amount of them have actually had it in recent times, especially given that they're not going to ice hockey games. I feel as though that's a lot of where I've heard about it from, just going to the local rink and just getting a nice steaming hot bowl or container, whatever it may be, with the gravy and the chips, and then they don't actually do that, and they're still managing to have it. And so that is fair play. They're really playing into some Canadian stereotypes and not for others. So let alone this guy that just likes to have his pancakes with his maple syrup, so to say, just absolutely drowning them in it and making sure that you're really standing up and getting your Canadian fix, your Canadian leaf just straight to the heart, so to say. But at the same time, I do now wonder, would Canadians dare to put anything else on their pancakes? Would they just get hauled away to jail if they put honey, for instance, or I don't even know what else. Ice cream. Ice cream's a very popular Australian pancakes in the summer kind of tradition, so to say. You know, you finish school, or not you finish school, before school, no, just during the holidays even, you have some pancakes and you have maple syrup, honey, whatever you can get your hands on, and ice cream, just because it's cold and hot, and that always works quite well, but maybe not. Maybe nothing else besides maple syrup is allowed. Speaking of which, the fact that they said they have maple syrup with their puts in has also just struck a chord with me, because I would have thought that as Canadian as the two ingredients, foods, whatever you want to be calling them are, I would have assumed that they had to be mutually exclusive. They are never allowed to touch because one's got the gravy and all the other bits, and one's just the soul sweet nectar, and they can never touch like that. But to be putting maple syrup on chips, wow. I never would have thought about it, and maybe I'll have to try it, but that just sounds very, very weird.
Just the other day, I went to LCBO in Toronto, and I gave my ID. It was a Quebec driver's license, and the lady takes it, and she's like, "Oh, you're one of those." And I was like,
"What?"
And then she just started saying how French people were rude, how we're dumb for not speaking English.
What?
Hi.
What is going on?
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say boring too. People think Frascati people are boring, and I don't get that.
I love traveling, and like, you're from Canada? Oh my God, we're gonna love you. I'm like, you don't know me.
When I like go to America, people think they can just like walk over me because I'm like nice. Like we should be proud to be nice.
We should be.
Also, we don't think we're like the shit like Toronto does.
Toronto's like the center of Canada.
We know where we stand in Saskatchewan. We know who we are. We know where we stand, Ontario. We're literally a rectangular of a province, and we know that.
Americans make fun of our healthcare like it's not awesome. Like they'll be like, "What do you have, free healthcare?" Yeah, we do. We're better than you.
Oh no. Some of those just absolutely hit home, and some of them were just very, very surprising. The fact that they said, "Oh, wait, what did he say?"
Exactly.
Like,
from Canada? Oh my God, we're gonna love you.
Yeah, the fact that when we're traveling, people say, "Oh, you're from Canada, we're gonna love you." And you don't know me. How are you gonna know that? If that is the biggest problem you have, wow, that is impressive. Out of everything, even everyone else mentioned, that is so far removed, it's awesome, I guess, in a way, for him to go, that is the worst experience I've ever had as a Canadian for being a Canadian. That is outrageous. I mean, for some other people, especially the domestic almost that happened here, just because it was a Quebecian driver's license. I mean, the Queenslanders, for instance, they would absolutely get something like that if they go anywhere, but not the Quebecians. And overall, I feel as though a lot of these were more so domestic stereotypes instead of international stereotypes. Like I said, the fact that a beaver didn't come up is completely blown me away, and the fact that they're saying, "Oh, Saskatchewan is boring," has also blown me away, because I don't think that anyone internationally is going to be saying that or thinking that. They're going to be considered Canadians, not, "Oh, you're from Saskatchewan." Like, it's completely different things, and really the only time I've ever heard of that being a problem is in Canadian content, where they're just making fun of Canada because they know they have the references and they can do that, but not international content. What is one thing you want the world to know about Canadians?
We're sorry.
Oh, come on.
We're not all super friendly, I don't think. I think people have an assumption that we're all super friendly. And then when I like are mean to people, they're like, "Well, that's not very Canadian of you."
Like Quebecois people tend to be more like family oriented, like more like community.
Like social.
Warm.
Right.
And we have like a very different humor. I mean, the Just for Laughs started in Montreal.
I feel like everyone thinks like, oh, you leave Canada, become famous, and then you become a celebrity. But like, there's so much talent who doesn't feel like making the commute.
I'd love to prevent funny people from leaving.
We can commit crime too.
They should know that we're sexy, I guess.
I think it's not the perfect haven that like people picture it to be. But I mean, it's still better than most places.
That is certainly a fair enough comment. Going, look, we have to at least admit that we aren't perfect. However, we are pretty darn good. We have to give ourselves a pat on the back saying we do have, like I said, better healthcare than some places. We do have better crime rates, even though they can commit crime. Even though every single person may not be the perfect saint to you, the majority of people will be. You will have a couple of bad eggs, and that's okay. There are so many things that of course you could nitpick, and of course there's not going to be this somewhat unholy, impossible place, but at the same time, you got to give it to them. They are better than a lot of places, and a lot of people have a lot of respect for Canadians. Like I said, wearing the pin, the Canadian flag pin, instead of plenty of other flags will get you a lot more respect. Even if they do want to trample over you sometimes, they will give you a lot more respect, and I think that's a very, very important thing to show respect for, considering the fact that that's earned. That's not granted, that's not just given, that is earned for sure.